Pick up. All right, good evening. My name is Laura Peugeot. I'm working with the Regional Opportunity Initiatives, and we're here tonight over in Holmesburg to talk about connectivity in the internet. So Regional Opportunity Initiatives, or ROI, has created an opportunity for counties in the Indiana uplands to participate in a regional digital inclusion planning effort to advance broadband and connectivity in communities across the region. ROI and the Purdue Center for Regional Development, also known as PCRD, have partnered and are working with each of the 11 counties to develop a county plan that will form a broader regional plan. The data you will see presented tonight is from a survey that PCRD created that was taken by residents in Brown County about their personal broadband use. We are wanting the public's input about the data we found, what you found interesting, confusing, incorrect, etc. This will help us in creating a comprehensive digital inclusion plan that will situate us well and make us competitive for federal and state dollars for broadband coming down the pipeline in the coming months and years. Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right, thank you, Larry. I'm Marin Whitty. I'm a project manager at Regional Opportunity Initiatives, and I'm going to be presenting some of the data that we found in our survey that residents of Brown County took. So let me share my screen. Okay. So through the survey, 6 different themes emerged, and these are the 6 that we're going to go through tonight. So the first one is the access gap. So this survey asked whether or not you had internet service at home, and as you can see, we had we have it compared Brown to the entire 11 county region to see kind of how Brown stacks up compared to the average. And so Brown County actually reported 32% reported not having internet at home, while 67% did. And they cited it was not available or it was too expensive. And this, you can see it's compared to the rest of the region. Yeah. So then we're moving on. So this is looking at percent of housing units without access to advertised 25.3 and 120. So obviously 120 is better internet than 25.3. And the state legislature still recognizes as 25.3 being the minimum broadband speed. So you can see here that 8.1% do not have the 25.3 broadband, and then 29, almost 30% do not have access to the 120. And this, compared to the rest of the state of Indiana, it's much higher. And a lot of this could be, due to Brown County's topography. And it's not very flat, very hilly. And then when asking why they do not have broadband, most cited that it just wasn't available. This is actually more than the rest of the uplands. And then this second reason, the second highest reason, was that they already use their smartphone. So they just don't see the need to just have it in their household because they just use the smartphone in the data. And then the third highest reason was that it was available, but it was too expensive. So these are 2 maps. The one on the left is showing the 25.3 broadband, and the one on the right is showing the 120 footprint. And these are showing the housing. So the color that you see is where there are people who have houses that are living that are outside the 25.3 and 120 footprints. And this is FCC data. So we do know that these maps can tend to be inaccurate. But for the most part, it kind of gives you a good idea of where people are living, where broadband is not available. And so, as you can see, there's less availability of 120 upload download speeds than the 25.3, especially in it seems like the northern part of the county. So now we move to homework gap. So with COVID, with a lot of the students being at home, this kind of exacerbated the issue and really showed a gap really across the country. But you can kind of see where Brown again compares to the rest of the counties in the region. They were not, the highest, but they did still have a 10% homework gap, which this is basically meaning that the 10% of the children in Brown County, they had a device or computer. And a lot of times this is provided by the school corporation, but no internet at home. So the device pretty much was useless because they could not connect to the internet when they were at home. So a lot of times we had students, having to drive to the school parking lots to connect to hotspots and to Wi-Fi to be able to do their homework. So this is just kind of shows that inequity of those who have, are fortunate to have broadband at home and those who are not. So then that kind of leads us into the devices gap. And this is comparing Brown and Uplands, and this is specifically for laptop ownership and performance. So for Brown, 30% said that they have a great laptop and it works really well. And this is actually a lot less than the average in the Uplands. And then if you look at the do not own, it's higher than the rest of the Uplands. So a lot more people do not own than the rest of the region. And this also, we have more people saying that the laptop that they do own is just not, it's not a good device. It's really not doing what it should be doing. So it's very clear that there just is a lack of decent devices in the county as well. Okay, so this is looking at days without internet, and this is due to unpaid bills, broken devices, unreliable service, running out of data, etc. And you can see the breakdown. So we have, never had problems as an orange. If they just don't access it or do not have access or own is in kind of the lighter blue. But if you look at the gray, the yellow, and then the darker blue, this shows how many days people are going without a device, maybe because they just, they're going without internet because of these reasons that are listed above. And if you look, more than 30 days, it's 22.6% of people went without internet because of these reasons, which is actually, if you look to the right, more than the Uplands. So this is just showing that, Brown is experiencing more issues than the rest of the region as a whole. Okay, so now with the digital literacy gap. So this is looking at 4 different things about people's use of the internet. So it looks like it's about 11.7% of people said that they needed help with new devices, and 35.9% said they had difficulty knowing if online info is trustworthy. And kind of what we're kind of thinking here, because it was higher than the rest of the region, is because Brown County has the oldest population of any other county in the region. And a lot of times, just the older generation isn't as informed on how to use technology, digital literacy than the younger population. And then if you look at this, you can see an age group breakdown from 2010 compared to 2019. And you can see that Brown County has less younger people than the Uplands region, but it has more older people than the Uplands region. And so, yeah, this kind of points to, the older people are, the less likely they are to know, either have devices or know how to use them. Okay, so this is just looking at internet use, average weekly and monthly number of uses. So you can see here, it's kind of a confusing chart, but let me see if I can help you out. It kind of is showing that older residents, lower educated residents, and lower earning individuals do not use the internet as much or for as many uses as their counterparts. So the counterparts being younger people, higher educated, or higher earning individuals. And this is again goes back to the inequity. Okay, and this leads us to digital skills gap. Okay, so it's becoming more of an issue for people to not have what are called digital skills. And this chart is showing that the percent of share of total digital jobs has decreased in the region. And this could be because of a lack of skilled workers. High speed broadband is increasingly a critical requirement for middle and higher income work. So more jobs that are coming on the market, they're requiring, higher digital skills to be able, just to be competitive, to be hired for the job. There's a lack of need for internet and lower paid and lower skilled jobs. And this again can increase digital inequities. So not having internet may become a barrier for people to be able to be prepared for and be able to access higher paying jobs. And this again, like the homework gap, became more evident, when COVID hit. Some people were able to stay home and continue working, whereas some people's jobs were shut down or they weren't able to work from home. And this chart, I highlighted brown, as you can see. Between 2010 and 2019, Brown County lost 56 medium-skilled jobs, but gained 119 high-skilled digital jobs. And then if you see that minus 66, this is showing that Brown County lost 66 low-skilled jobs. So you can kind of interpret this as new jobs are requiring digital skills. Now we can move to the service gap. Okay, so this map is just showing where the FCC is saying that that there is broadband available. Where on the left is where the 25.3 upload download speeds. They're saying where it's served, and then on the right is the 120. So I kind of want to ask, if you're watching this online, do you think this is an accurate picture of broadband availability in Brown County? Because this is what the FCC is reporting. And I would probably say that people would push back on this. I don't live in Brown County myself, but from what we've heard is this is really not, what it actually is. Because we know that the FCC, if there's a census tract and there's 10 families that live in the census tract and one family has access to good broadband, FCC is going to report that the entire census tract is covered, whereas that's not always the case. These 9 other families may not have access to broadband, but it's not reported. So this leads to new opportunities that are coming. The American Rescue Plan Act was passed, and so this is going to give new federal, state, and local. The federal government is giving the state and then also localities money, and one of the things that was highlighted in it is broadband. So it's a big thing. And also with the READY initiative coming out of the state, a big one is just a lot of money for broadband. So that is why this digital inclusion plan that ROI is helping lead is so important, because with the plan that we're going to be able to have, it's going to be going to prepare our region to be competitive for this funding. It'll put us at an advantage because we will have the data and we will have a plan in place to apply for this money, or to make the case of why we should be the ones that get this money. And then just actually last week or the week before, the Indiana speed test was launched, and this is a really, really cool initiative that's going on. It's a partnership among stakeholders throughout the state, led by Farm Bureau, and it's basically it's a project that is a crowdsourced internet speed project. And the goal here is to create an accurate map of where internet service is available and what broadband speeds residents are currently receiving, or if they do not have broadband at all. So it's going to be an accurate map, whereas I said before, FCC's tends to not be kind of the maps I've showed during this presentation. So this data, it will pinpoint areas that are in most need of reliable, affordable access to broadband service. So this is where you can go to take the speed test, and I've taken it, and it took me about 30 seconds. And since it's based on crowdsourcing, it's very important that we spread the word and have as many people in the state. And we want people in our region to take it. And the governor and the state legislators are looking forward to seeing the results from this project. And it's led by an organization called Geo Partners, who have done work for Kentucky and Maine and Minnesota. And it's really exciting. It's going to allow us to know where broadband should go, and you can kind of pinpoint, you can kind of draw a map and figure out what the cost would be to put broadband in certain areas is. I'm not an expert in it, but I've seen the map and I've seen them kind of fiddling with it, and it's very neat. So if everyone could take this and you could, spread the word and know that if this is successful, it will, make people's broadband access better, especially in counties that need it the most, like Brown County. So that is all I have. I know that Sean is going to close with a couple comments.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the great presentation. And thank you, Larry, for kicking us off. We are going to be posting this on the Brown County Community Foundation's YouTube channel, and then sharing that to our Facebook page as well. So we really would welcome comments. We want people to get involved and share their feedback based on Marin's wonderful presentation. And we also are going to post the link to the speed test in the comments of that, so you can connect to that. We'll also share that as a post too. So if you can connect with us on Facebook at Brown County Community Foundation, or on YouTube, you'll be able to view this comment and maybe share it with some of your friends. We can get more support for potential funding for this in Brown County to expand our coverage. So want to say thank you again to ROI and Purdue, the PCRD, for the great work getting us the data. And again, thank you to Larry, thank you to Marin for being a part of this. And we'll have this up and shared soon. Anything else, Marin, Larry?
Nope.
Good.
I think that's great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good night.